We are on the afternoon break in the questioning of Janet Williams at the undercover policing inquiry. Janet Williams was commander of Special Branch between November 2003 and December 2005. I think it's fair to say during the afternoon session, her demeanour has changed from being very chatty and having an overview of all the topics to being someone who is flapping wildly and claiming to have no memory of things that she has recorded, to have decided, to have known. She claims that she has no memory whatsoever of the recording of her saying that she was that the sexual relationship between Helen Steele and John Dines would have been approved of at the time, but not now. She claimed to have no memory whatsoever of Operation Magma, though after being shown numerous documents which were disclosed to her, she claimed to remember something about it, though not the contents of the witness statements by either of the officers, which show that there was sexual activity being partaken by undercover officers and that there was a targeting of Black family justice campaigns. I'm joined by Kate Wilson of Police Spies Out Lives. What do you make of what we've heard?
It's been quite an entertaining afternoon. I've actually been able to pay attention. There's not blood on the walls yet.
Not quite yet.
But it's not far off.
Her body language is all over the place.
Oh, yeah. So first interesting point, the decision logs have appeared. She's very upset about that.
She really isn't happy at all.
Having asked for these decision logs and made a really big point of, if I had the decision logs, I would be able to remember because it's all very detailed and recorded down there. She is now suddenly, and she claims very unfairly, being presented with precisely those decision logs and claiming that they jog no more memory than what is written on the page.
Funny that.
It very much makes it look like, having given quite a coherent speech about how important the decision logs would be and how everything would be recorded there and everything would be made clear, that actually she was using that as an excuse, believing to be safe in the knowledge that the decision logs no longer existed. And she's not happy at all that they're being presented to her now.
There was a little part of me that had a sympathy would be too strong a word, but the fact that the inquiry had not disclosed things to her in a timely fashion, I was like, well, welcome to the undercover policing inquiry.
She's also, I'm not sure she realises the irony when she's being presented with documents that are almost entirely redacted, apart from a very small section about her that she's being asked about. She said, well, how can I possibly answer that?
Kafkaesque.
I'm not being given any context. This is Kafkaesque. It was like, well, now you know what it's like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's interesting because she, having maintained that she knew absolutely nothing about the relationships, she has been presented with evidence that pretty clearly shows that she was a part of a gold group whose job was to make sure the revelations of Officer A and Officer B in their witness statements never got out.
Yeah.
And there's been some pretty damning bits of documentary evidence from that, including stuff in her handwriting about considering whether they've breached the Official Secrets Act, potentially putting them under surveillance. These are, stepping away from the whole secret operations thing for a moment. These are two people who are considering suing their bosses for failure of duty of care. This is a workplace dispute.
Yes.
And the response to it is extreme paranoia from Janet Williams and the rest of her gold group. And one of the things that they said was that these witness statements, it had to be very restricted who would be able to see them, and there's a very, very tight list, and it's not to be shown outside of the gold group. She's been asked about, well, were the allegations investigated? And she said, well, that wouldn't have been our responsibility. Somebody should have investigated them, but it wouldn't have been our responsibility.
She blames the lawyers. She says that the lawyers should have referred it to the DPS. But there doesn't seem to be any acknowledgement that this is simply as an internal matter from the unit she was running, that regardless of any investigation, she should have addressed the substantive issues with the unit that she's running and the officers which were still part of her unit.
And I think it's quite striking because she did come across very well this morning.
She did, yeah. I think she ran out of speech. I think she prepared everything this morning and then she ran out.
Well, no, I think she has just been presented with more. I think she thought she had it stitched up, and she's been presented with stuff that she wasn't expecting. But she is responding with genteel, bemused regret. That's her demeanor. And this woman was head of Special Branch, and she's being presented with evidence of her own participation in a cover-up. And she is responding with genteel, bemused regret that these terrible things were not investigated, and that's that's kind of her, totally backed into a corner. I'm and it really makes me wonder because she was head of special branch.
Quite.
She wasn't somebody's nanny.
Yeah, there's been a few times where she's kind of been very like going, "Oh, I haven't seen this document. No, it was disclosed to you. It was in your bundle. It's on this tab." And then she's going, "Well, I've been abroad for 10 years. I've been working in another area. I haven't been following the inquiry." Because obviously a number of these documents we've seen repeatedly.
Yes.
I mean, particularly the one, her attendance, the attendance record, where it refers to her saying that it wouldn't have been approved of now, but it was then. That quote, that's not new. That's not new to us. Her lawyers should have briefed her that was going to come up. The idea that was being sprung on her in any way is ridiculous.
I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, a lot of these officers, they give evidence. And you just have to wonder, because some of them quite clearly haven't even read their own witness statements before taking the witness stand and are presented with things that they've said in their own witness statements and flap around. She, I believe, very much believe, has prepared for this.
Yes.
And is very irritated to have been sideswiped by things she wasn't expecting because she had it very carefully prepared.
But I really do think that there was a number of those things there, particularly to do with Operation Magma and to do with Operation Muscat, which is the litigation brought by Peter Francis and HM123, and then the Helen Steele search for John Dines, which she should have prepared for. I mean, those have come up at the inquiry again and again and again. These are big topic areas. She was up to her neck in both of them. She was head of the gold group for Operation Magma. She went to Australia as part of Operation Muscat. Though it was operationally something else. She just happened to be there for the same
she
time.
Basically says she didn't go to that.
Yeah,
I think it was New Zealand, but that she didn't go there as part of Operation Muscat.
But she happened to be
She just happened to be around, and there was some financial issues that needed her attention, so she dropped in. Kind of thing.
But she is up to her neck in both.
Yes,
I mean, she should have prepared for this topic. I mean, regardless of, I take the point that maybe there's some of the decision logs she hadn't been shown in advance, but they're only a small part of the paperwork that she's being shown. There's lots of things she would have been fully briefed on, or could have been if she'd have taken the time to. I kind of feel that she is trying to play a sympathy card a bit, like constantly kind of going like, well, I wouldn't have known about this. I don't know about this. I haven't seen this. And it's like, well, it's your bloody handwriting for a start.
Yes. Yes. I mean, like, I don't know. It's a bit of an odd one, really, because she quite clear. I mean, the documentary evidence is quite clearly there that she was very much running this stuff.
Yeah.
And there's documents that have been written by someone else. There was something that so one of the things that came up from the Officer A and B statements was the fact that Trevor Morris and HN81 had been sent to spy on the Black Justice groups. It is quite clear that at the time, Gold Group were very much aware that would be a major publicity problem for the Metropolitan
Very clearly.
Police. They specifically upgrade the status of those officers to critical. They carry out 2 reviews where they actually explicitly say that, this is why this is a problem. She completely denies it, despite the fact that this all happened. And one of the things
she commissioned the reviews, which were then addressed to her.
Not only did she commission the reviews, but there's a decision log in somebody else's handwriting about reviewing all of the operations of the STS to check that they are, I don't know what the wording is, proportionate, justified, blah, blah, blah. But she has added in her handwriting and legal at the end. So they did all this. They commissioned these reviews, and yet they still managed to, and I mean, it's interesting. I wonder if Axo Vanette, who gave evidence yesterday, his apology about the complete failure to apply the REPA process properly to the SDS will be put to her, and whether she will be asked whether she accepts that, because she absolutely, and maybe it was 20 years ago, and maybe she left that job genuinely believing that she'd done a good job.
I mean, and maybe there are little fairies at the bottom of the garden, and maybe the moon is made of cheese.
No, but maybe she genuinely did believe that she had done a good job, and now she's being faced with the fact that she didn't.
I think my personal belief is I think she did a good job. I think she probably still does think she did a good job. I think that the reality is that her morality around these things are a lot more elastic than she's letting on.
Yes.
And that she was perfectly willing to accept the abuse of activists because she dehumanized us in the same way that so many police officers have.
I mean, I think the approach to the Officer A and B litigation makes that completely clear, because they're not even activists.
No.
They are Metropolitan Police employees, but they're bringing this case against, they're potentially threatening the unit, and they become fair game.
Yeah.
For surveillance, for maybe trying to fit them up under the Official Secrets Act. And that is the attitude. And that.
In fact, the last thing she was asked was about the sense of betrayal that existed because they brought the litigation. And she said, it wasn't the litigation. It was the fact that they were threatening to disclose the unit. That's what caused the sense of betrayal. And it's very clear that they were viewed as traitorous.
As traitorous,
yes.
Yes.
We should go back in. It's only a short break. Thanks for joining us. Oh, there's one quick comment. Officers who have interviewed so many in their careers seem to get interviewed especially badly, don't they? Yeah, absolutely. They really don't like the shoe being on the other foot.